More than 5 years have passed since a Malaysian Airlines plane was shot down in eastern Ukraine. Finally, this Monday, a trial starts in the Netherlands, and the relatives of the 298 people who died will have a chance to find out what really happened. But the 4 people that have been accused of mass murder for their alleged roles in the shooting will not sit in the dock. The suspects are 3 Russians with links to the intelligence services and 1 Ukrainian separatist rebel commander. According to the prosecutors, a Pac missile was transported from a Russian base to the separatist zone, from where it was fired. A Dutch crash investigation pieced together the wreckage of the plane, as most of the victims were Dutch.
We start with North Korea's latest provocation. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has confirmed that North Korea fired at least 3 short-range projectiles from Sondok, Hamgyongnam-do province toward the East Sea at 7:36 a.m. today. The projectiles traveled some 200 kilometers and reached an altitude of 50 kilometers. The JCS said the launches appear to be part of its artillery strike drill involving multiple types of multiple rocket launchers for a wintertime exercise. The launches are also seen as a way for the regime to consolidate its power and shift the focus away from the coronavirus outbreak. Pyongyang is yet to report any COVID-19 cases.
This is the reality of gun crimes in South Africa. On average, there are 58 murders every day, one of the highest violent crime rates in the world, according to government statistics. And experts say that's largely down to 500,000 illegal firearms on the streets. Buying an illegal gun can cost as little as $30.
It's very easy to buy a gun at the hostels, or you can get it by breaking into houses in the suburbs. Sometimes you mark someone who has a gun. It's very easy to get a gun here in South Africa.
These gang members in the Johannesburg township of Soweto, who don't want to be identified, say guns make it easier to commit crimes. With 4 guns between them, they call themselves a small army.
Shocking revelations about meals served at one of South Australia's busiest hospitals, with claims patients have found maggots and other insects in their food. There have been hundreds of complaints about the food at the Flinders Medical Centre. Some patients say it's so bad they're now refusing to return.
Solidified soup, cheese and tomato sandwiches and casserole from a can. These are meals that have been served up to patients at the Flinders Medical Centre. The opposition revealing last year more than 600 complaints were made to the Southern Adelaide Local Health Network about the food at Flinders. And if you think this looks bad, it gets even worse.
Where you see maggots in food, where you see earwigs in food, where you see flies in food, that's not acceptable.
Many of the complaints made after May, when the hospital commenced a new catering contract with ISF.
The School of Peace burned to the ground 3 years to the day after it opened. That date and recent political tension caused by a far-right faction of islanders targeting refugee charities has raised suspicions about how this fire started. Investigations into the cause are ongoing. The school had been closed for 2 weeks because of the tense atmosphere on Lesbos. Refugees living in the island's refugee camp at Moria were told not to come. That tension came after the Greek government tried to build a detention center the islanders don't want to replace the overcrowded Moria camp, and became much worse after Turkey opened its borders to refugees who want to go to Europe. Greece sought to defend its borders and push the migrants and refugees back.
Law enforcement released new figures showing the shocking number of murders that have already taken place this year in Tijuana. According to Baja State Police, as of Friday, 327 people have been murdered in the city. Its mayor claims officials have already taken efforts to fix the issue, but a citizens group in Mexico claims local police don't even have enough resources to do their jobs. The violence has been linked to ongoing turf wars between rival cartels in the area. ATF officials say most weapons used in crimes that have been confiscated by police in Tijuana were smuggled into the city. They say they're working hard to stop gun smuggling there, which includes focusing efforts here in the U.S. Last year, a Mexican nonprofit labeled Tijuana the most dangerous city in the world. The Trump administration has often cited trans-border violence as a key reason to build a wall.
Commuting in Kinshasa is a nightmare. The Congolese capital, home to 12 million people, is famous for its dreadful traffic jams. It's become much worse in the past year, and these unfinished bridges are to blame. Last year, in an effort to ease the congestion, President Felix Tshisekedi commissioned the construction of flyover bridges and roads worth millions of dollars. He set a December deadline for completion, but has failed to deliver. And some claim that government officials have stolen the funds. Many Congolese say they will no longer tolerate government corruption. After nearly 2 decades of misappropriation under former President Joseph Kabila left the country poor and underdeveloped.
So then an explosion has hit a convoy carrying Sudan's prime minister in what the government has described as an assassination attempt. Abdalla Hamdok was traveling through Khartoum when there was a roadside blast. The vehicle he was in was damaged, as well as several others. The government says it was a targeted attack and investigations are underway to try and determine who was responsible.
The Prime Minister and the convoy members were not injured. They were all safe, except one person who fell from a motorcycle. The Prime Minister is doing his job now from his office and investigations are underway. We know that there are people who are trying to target the revolution of the Sudanese people and to attack the gains of the revolutionaries, but we stress that revolution is going on and the revolution will continue its path.